Right now on the all-night appetite, we have the absolute pleasure of talking with the Commissioner and the Chairman of the Australian Ice Hockey League, and we say a very, very good morning to Tyler Loving.
Good morning. How are you, Jack?
I'm pretty good, mate. How about yourself? It must be quite an exciting week for you.
It's been a real great season. This week has been really exciting. The teams and everyone involved with the Australian Ice Hockey League, everything they put into the whole season is all coming to the pointy end with 3 great games over 2 days, and then we'll be crowning our 2011 champion.
Yes, and that's all happening on Sunday at 4 p.m. at the Ice House in Melbourne. Tell us a bit about this league, mate. It's getting more and more known as time progresses, but how have you seen this year in particular compared to other seasons?
Well, I think the league itself, so we set the league up about 12 years ago, and back in those days, the internet and website and all that sort of stuff wasn't front and center, and about 5-6 years ago we saw a real shift in the general exposure. This year, with social media being such a major player in life generally, teams are now getting 200 or 300 resumes from players all over the world wanting to play in the Australian Ice Hockey League. So the quality has risen dramatically in terms of our imports. Local players are at an all-time high, I think, in terms of their quality, and that comes down to the fact that Ice Hockey Australia, our governing body, has got programs and development programs in from kids starting at 10 years old, and our national team is now qualified for the first division at the World Championships for the second time in the last 5 years, which is just superb. So a lot of factors contributing to the success of our league.
Absolutely. One of them would be also the timing, you would think, with it being on the break between the National Ice Hockey League season.
Absolutely, and it's an interesting point because I found this year the Vancouver Canucks and Boston Bruins series, maybe just because it was a Canadian team this year, got so much coverage in Australia, and not all of it was to do with the riots after the final game. So I think you're right. The Olympics, the Winter Olympics happening in Vancouver got a heck of a lot of coverage on Channel 9. Then the Stanley Cup Finals, and now our league. And we had also had in amongst that the World Division II Championships in Melbourne as well. So we're able to leverage off of a number of globally a number of really big events.
Yeah, I bet it would. And it all concludes, this weekend, and it should be a fascinating one. How have you seen the 4 teams that are competing for the grand final this season? I'm talking about the Melbourne Ice, the Adelaide Adrenaline, Newcastle North Stars, and the Sydney Ice Dogs. How have you seen all 4 of those team seasons?
Well, all 4 of those teams have had their ups and downs this year, which is to be expected for a 28-game season. But at the end of the season, all 4 of them really stood out. The top 4, I think, have all beaten each other at least once this year, or very, very close. And I think that the Melbourne Ice, the minor premiers, the defending champions, in their home rink, need to be sort of leaned on as the favorites. I'm not sure if they want that tag or not, but I know that Newcastle North Stars are traditionally a fantastic team in the finals. The Sydney Ice Dogs haven't won the championship in about 4 years, so they're dead hungry. And the Adelaide Adrenaline, they had to play right until the last weekend to qualify for that 4th spot. So, technically they've been playing playoff hockey for the last couple of weeks.
Okay, and yeah, it's going to be fairly exciting. I'll get your tips a little bit later. How have you seen the development of this league? I spoke about before about, not many people know about it too much, but now it seems like, and get a sold-out grand final this weekend. It must be incredible seeing the growth of this sport.
Well, it is really, really rewarding, and myself and Steve Audie from Adelaide and John Rout from Canberra and Wayne Hellier from Sydney here. 12 years ago we sat in a boardroom at Randwick Racecourse thinking, what can we do to sort of put this sport on the map? And I think at that stage, never in our wildest dreams would we think that 12 years later, we were playing in front of sold-out crowds on live streaming onto the internet in terms of our teams. Teams getting 200-plus resumes of quality imports to play. And us having, journalists and radio shows and newspapers and television programs all calling us because everyone's quite interested in this sport. So it's really rewarding, I think, for me as the current chairman, but I think everyone who's put into this league for the last 12 years, not only at the administration level, but at the club level, and even, at the mom and dad level, I think all of us can sit back at the end of the season and be pretty proud of where we're at.
Absolutely, and it must thrill you that you've actually got a stadium quite like the Medibank Ice House in the Docklands. That must be a huge thrill to have games played there.
It is absolutely world-class facility. The folks that are running the Medibank Ice House do it at a very high professional level. Everything from, where you can book your tickets online to picking your seat to having quality VIP sections and corporate boxes, right down to the quality of the ice surface and the audiovisual, the facilities in the Docklands that are surrounding it. It's world class, and there's no secret that's why that venue's got selected as the championship venue for the last 2 years. And as a league, we've got a lot of great things happening over the next few years, and we're hoping to be able to enhance our relationship with the Medibank Ice House so that, we continue with a win-win relationship.
Absolutely. And I read with interest that you've announced a Trans Tasman Championship League with the New Zealand Ice Hockey League. Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, I went over to Auckland a couple of weeks back, and as a player back in the day, we used to love the games against New Zealand because you knew that no matter where you were in the world ranking, New Zealand was always going to lift their game to have a good one with you. But when I was playing in the first sort of couple of World Championships 10, 12 years ago, the gap was about 8 or 9 goals between us and New Zealand. But now, and towards the end of my career, it was only 2 or 3. And so the timing's right now because New Zealand's worked very, very hard on developing their players. We're so close, 3-hour flight. And despite the fact that corporate funding is still, very high on our agenda and something we're really trying to achieve, I'm quite committed to seeing this through. So I went over to Auckland a couple of weeks back, met with my equivalent of the New Zealand Ice Hockey League and said, look, our top teams will play your top two teams the following season, so very much like the A-League here. And let's get it done. So we've both agreed in principle to make that happen. We do need to source, a venue and some corporate sponsorship and a few minor details, but I'm really excited about it. All the players are really excited about it. The Melbourne Ice are the first team to qualify as a minor premiers, and the winner of this weekend's final will also qualify. Now, if that's the Melbourne Ice, then the runner-up will qualify. But really exciting. I think, it's great timing for us to be able to face off against New Zealand's top 2 club teams.
Absolutely.